End of Jobs by Taylor Pearson. Book summary. Taylor Pearson's The End of Jobs, Money, Meaning, and Freedom Without the 9 to 5 argues that because of technological advancement, the job market is looking increasingly precarious, and that in such an environment, the best way to make a living and find meaning at the same time is to become an entrepreneur. This will also have the added advantage of giving you financial freedom in the process. Taylor Pearson is an author, financial advisor, and entrepreneur. As well as writing The End of Jobs, he maintains a presence on Medium, while his writings have also been featured by NBC, Inc., CoinDesk, and the Financial Times. He also works with small business startup founders and executives as a consultant, and in 2020 established Mutiny Fund, a black swan investment fund for accredited investors. The End of Jobs is a book about entrepreneurship. This field, Pearson argues, is booming, and it is the goal of his book to explain to his readers what this trend will mean for them. He begins doing so by explaining what he means by the end of jobs. By this, Pearson isn't envisaging some utopian ideal where machines will do everything for us, and we can sit back and enjoy the fruits of a postmodern digital age. Rather, he is arguing that jobs as our grandparents and parents have known them are ending. This is the 20th century post-war baby boomer pathway of going to college, getting a degree, and then getting a permanent pensionable job, based on what you have learned while studying. The world, Pearson argues, has changed in ways which means this pathway is less and less available to people all over the world. For starters, the massive growth in world population levels and the simultaneous decimation of job markets by mechanization mean that jobs such as those baby boomers had in America in the 1980s and 1990s are ever rarer with each year. Moreover, college degrees in and of themselves are much less valuable today than they were 30 or 40 years ago. This is because so many more people have degrees as the acquisition of credentials has become ever more commodified. For instance, between 2000 and 2010 alone, the number of people in the United States with college degrees grew from 20% of the total population to 30% of the total population. That means that for every job that 2 people were qualified to get in the year 2000, 3 people were qualified for it in 2010. Today, it's closer to 4 people. Clearly, your chances of getting said job are much lower than they were 20 years ago. Added to this is the globalization of the jobs market. Remote working now means that American companies can hire talent in the Philippines at a fraction of the cost that they would pay to provide an American worker with a US salary. Finally, a whole range of new software and technologies have rendered the work of accountants, graphic designers, video editors, and many others besides effectively obsolete. All of this combined has created a much more precarious job market, and one where the jobs of previous generations seem to be getting smaller and smaller in the rear-view mirror. But while all this sounds pretty bleak, that isn't Pearson's message. Instead, the argument of his book is that this revolutionary shift in the nature of work and employment provides an opportunity for more and more people to break out on their own and become entrepreneurs. People in America and elsewhere in the developed world are necessarily going to have to start thinking on their own 2 feet, rather than waiting for an employer to provide them with a paycheck every week. Once people realize this, they can start to carve out their own niche as an entrepreneur. Pearson's approach to doing so is based on the idea of developing lots of different side projects. If you have 5 or 6 different avenues you are exploring at any one time, 1 or 2 might not lead anywhere, but some of them will. As such, he argues, you are much better off trying to learn multiple skills and adding to them all of the time, rather than relying on a specialization in one area, such as the baby boomer generation did when they went to college and studied engineering or accountancy. Pearson notes here that the worldwide availability of the internet and the expansion of online markets and online modes of doing just about anything have massively lowered the costs of operating small businesses. As such, you can set up a side project quite easily from your own living room and see how it works out. If they don't all hit the market, you haven't lost much. Pearson is also keen to point out that this move towards entrepreneurship can be rewarding in ways that are not purely financial. Creating your own business or businesses will allow you to work in ways that are meaningful to you personally. Moreover, you can acquire greater freedom by working for yourself. And as the subtitle of Pearson's book notes, ditch the 9-to-5 slog. Finally, Pearson offers a method to envisage how you can grow your business incrementally. This is the stair-step method, whereby you create your desired career for yourself one step at a time. For instance, you can launch a product first, then maybe start a blog. If all that goes well, why not set up your own YouTube channel or build your own website? The possibilities are endless, and it really is up to you to see where you can take it and how successful you can be. And that's the end of the summary. The End of Jobs by Taylor Pearson, a book which highlights how the world of work is changing and how you can adapt to meet it in positive ways.